Right guys, hello, we're back. If you watched the last video, you don't need an introduction. If you didn't watch the last video, alright guys, Hayzink here. Welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. That's right, we are back in the channel. You do not know who I am. You have not seen my last video. You just ignore that if you have seen it. Positive Haze is a figment of your imagination. He doesn't exist. It's just me, keeping it real as always. So, we are going to talk about our man RYU. And this time we're going to talk about the bigger, I suppose, elephant in the room, and it's the fact that this guy is not going to be a legendary unit, right? Now, short story long, if a lot of you have paid attention to my content for a while, you will know that when he was revealed in Satsu mode, there was a lot of YouTube content creators basically running with that, oh my god, they've leaked their typings, they're going to be legendary units, let's go. I never for one moment thought that was going to be the case. Now I'll explain why, bluntly, and you can probably apply this to everything going forward. If a unit is a fan favourite, if a unit is something that people really want, there's no chance, none whatsoever, they are going to allow people just to get that unit for a one-off purchase and they don't need any dupes, because this is not the strategy they've decided to do with this game, right? This is why I knew RYU would not be a legendary character. Oni is not going to be a legendary character, right? It's not going to happen. Now, some people are quite pleased about that because they think to themselves, well, you know what? I quite like that. Because if he was legendary, I know I wouldn't get him because I'm not going to spend money on this game. So at least if he's in this pool, I've got a chance of summoning for them. Well, I'm actually here to tell you why RYU changing from legendary to factional based is actually worse than you think. And to do that, I would ideally like to have shown you my TW account, but I can't because for some reason my TW account has just deleted all my progress and I cannot be bothered starting again because the TW version sucks, man, it really does. In some ways it's actually less free-to-play friendly than this. But when it comes to certain legendary characters, RYU actually being one of them, you can actually get them free-to-play. Mind-blowing, I know. Now this is something that happens in AFK Arena as well, right? But you can get RYU free-to-play. You can get them from, I think it's the City Shop. I'm not sure if it is the City Shop, but it's one of the shops. Kind of the way that you get Rose and stuff. Costs a bit more, right? But exactly the same. You earn the unit, one and done, he's yours, you can keep him, right? Now, the thing is, it might take you a while to build that up, but the reality of the situation is, it's going to take you a while to save up enough tokens for you to summon the guy to a usable level anyway. And even then, we're talking SS, we're not talking SSS plus 5. If you get the unit as a legendary, he's SSS plus 5 because you just link him to someone, SSS plus 5, you're good to go. So RYU actually changing from legendary to a factional based unit, even if you're free to play, it's not a good thing. Because like I said, you can pick some of these units up from exchange shops, and he's not the only one. There's other legendary characters who can get picked up from these exchange shops. The fact is, Global's not doing that though. And the worrying thing I've got is the trend that this sets, because so far what's happened, right, is they've taken the characters who were, let's call them desirable legendaries, and I don't mean desirable for their kit, I mean desirable for the unit, right? So they've taken units like Trendy Kami, I actually believe Athletic Chun-Li, and RYU, taken them from being legends that are one and done and made them into summonable units. They've taken summonable units, so far just one, because we've only had one legendary that's not Sakura, and they've made them go from standardized units into legendary units, Flame Chun-Li. So every time they take a legendary unit from the legendary pool, they're going to have to backfill that, right? So that means that we know going forward, someone's going to have to slot into these slots. Either that or they're just not going to do as many legendary units on Global, which seems bizarre to me, right? But it could happen, you know. So what I'm expecting to happen going forward, and guys, I just want to say, like, while it's not guaranteed, if you go back and watch my videos, my prediction rate is almost 100%. I just want to say that. It's almost, I'm not bragging on nothing, right? But just kind of reading how this game's going and how it's working, my predictions are fairly spot on. So what I'm actually thinking is going to happen is possibly not the next one, but certainly one of them. I think what they're actually going to do is take a unit that is supposed to be a standard unit, Mummy Dalsim, and I think they're going to take Mummy Dalsim, remove him from the normal pool, and they're going to turn them into a legendary unit. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, he could potentially be the next legendary unit, I don't know for sure, but they're not going to take just a bog standard basic character. It's not like they're going to take El Fuerte and make him into a legendary character. They're going to take one of the basic units who are like seasonal. So they're going to take someone like a Mummy Dalsim, someone obviously like a Flame Chun-Li, you know what I mean? Someone who's a spin on a standard unit, and they're going to take them from that pool and convert them into a legendary character so that they can still sell these legendaries. But they're going to take units who people would really want to summon and then convert them into being a legendary unit, which really leaves me wondering, as free players, are we just going to continue to get like the more basic type units as legendaries? Like, there's a strong possibility. I know I have a strong feeling about, right, I'll tell you who I think the next legendary unit could be, right? I hope it's not. I really hope it's not, but I do think there's a chance. I think it might be Summer Ibuki. I think it's either going to be Summer Ibuki or it's going to be Mummy Dalsim. I think they're going to take those units and put them into the legendary banner. Not banner, but the legendary mall, right? So you can purchase them instead of them being summonable units. I really hope that I'm wrong, right? I really, really do. But I don't know why. I've just got a feeling. Someone like Ibuki, people would probably pay money for her. And I think they know that. And I think there's a chance it could be her. The only other one I see as a viable option to backfill into the legendary slot is probably going to be Mummy Dalsim. People can shoot me all they want for speculation, but at the end of the day, this has to happen. And they've got to move something from somewhere. And these are the type of units that fit the mould of what I think could actually slot in there. Summer Yang, nobody was going to buy him. I mean, maybe some people might like his kit and decide to buy him, but you're not going to get waifu chasers purchasing him, right? You might get husbando chasers buying him, I don't know, right? But Ibuki's that type of character, especially Summer Ibuki, where I could see people potentially purchasing in the mall because it's Summer Ibuki. So I think there's a strong possibility it could be her, but it's either going to be her or it's going to be Mummy Dalsim. That's my opinion on that. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But it's really, for me, how this is going to essentially unbalance things moving forward, because it really does mean that everything that could have potentially been a legend that we were going to be hyped for, they're going to make sellable. There's probably a strong possibility that every, let's just say if you've got 2 tiers of summonable units who aren't divination summons, you've got like your, let's just say your B tier units who people, they don't care that much about, and then you've got your A tier units who people are like, oh yes, that's a standard unit, I'm going to save all my arcade tokens for them. That unit is the type of unit that I could see them transferring over and making them legendaries. And the thing is, I kind of see this happening going forward with the likes of your fashion RYUs, your fashion Kens, probably your fashion Bisons and stuff like that. They're either going to make them this type of summon or they're going to make them a summon a bit like Chun-Li, which is unfortunate because it means that when we finally do get those units that you can pick up for free that are legendaries, while they might still be decent, they probably won't be as hype for you as getting someone like an Evil Ryu, an Oni, a Fashion Ken or something like that, you know? So it's a little bit disappointing, but ultimately I think that's why them changing these units, and just to be clear, when I say changing these units, up to Evil Ryu, we can't really say that they changed Trendy Cammy. They made her different from TW, but we had never received the unit, so technically speaking, it never changed for us. It was just offered to us that way. With Evil Ryu and Oni, it's slightly different because we have literally seen them in our version of the game as legends, and when it comes to letting us get those units, they are changing them, right? So this is the first time that they've quote unquote changed the unit to make more money, and it's disappointing. And like I say, for me it's a big disappointment because I think that a lot of free-to-play players didn't know that you would be able to get this guy for free if they just followed things. It basically means that, without sounding rough on the game, we truly do have the worst version of the game. We do. The fact is, they make everything more money orientated, and while surface level, if you didn't know as a free-to-play player, you might think it's a positive thing because you get a chance to summon for them, the fact that you didn't know that units like this eventually are obtainable free to play by like shop purchases and stuff like that, you've got no reason to have said up to this point, oh, that sucks. You know what I mean? You've probably just thought, haha, sucks to be a whale, you know, that kind of thing. But it actually sucks because free to play players are going to miss out on just getting one copy of a guy like this, and then he's done and dusted. It's a shame. If you watch the video I put out before this, however, I've kind of outlined ways that maybe all players can make things a little bit easier on themselves, but I wish it didn't have to come to that, because the methods of trying to gain as many of these tokens as possible that we spoke about in the previous video, you would still be able to do that, but you would just be able to do it for units who aren't Evil Ryu, and get Evil Ryu later for free from the shop or whatever, and put those tickets you've saved up to use for the next collab, the next hype unit that was never going to be a legendary, you know? It just means that your spending pot is being diluted, because, let's be real, this is going to be the first real good Ryu that you would have a chance of getting, and he's a main character. Most people are going to want him. So it's disappointing. It's not the end of the world, because again, if you actually take a step back and count the resources that you can get, and you don't need to just be gacha crazy, throwing summons every single banner that drops, you can actually play smart and up your chances of getting these units. But it would just have been nice if they didn't make this change. So anyway, now that you know, if you didn't already, that you could have actually got this guy for free if they continued to kind of keep him legendary and follow the path of TW, which at this stage I'd probably want them to do. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. You still think it's a good thing that they've changed them to a summonable unit like this, or now that you know that legends do get added and you can purchase them for free using shop currencies, would you have rather he stayed a legend? One and done. Think of Fashion Blanca. If you're a free-to-play player, think of how good it is having Fashion Blanca pushed all the way up to maximum rank. Just think about that before you answer the question. Wouldn't you like another top level character like that for free? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway guys, I've been Hayzink. We had the good, we had the bad. Not here to be negative, just sharing both sides of the coin. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.